economic crisis, war, global warming, healthcare reform, education. These are all critical issues that our nation faces today. The consensus is clear. Problems need solving, but political polarization has paralyzed the government. At the USC Schwarzenegger Institute, we believe strongly that our country is at its best when we put what's best for the people over what's best for politics. Through this shift in polarization, America can flourish as the greatest nation in the world. We fought for freedom and declared independence.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
A government by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
United as one, with a common vision. We survived the Great Depression.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified.
And led the world to victory.
The representative of the German state signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe.
We landed a man on the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
We defeated communism.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
If America is going to continue to create great things, we must rise above politics.
The American people did not send us here to bicker. There is work to do, and they sent us here to get it done.
The American people returned to office a president of one party and a Congress of another. Surely they did not do this to advance the politics of petty bickering and extreme partisanship they plainly deplore.
Despite the best intentions, our nation is mired in hyper-partisanship. In order to live up to our promise of America, advances must be made to implement policies that are in the best interest of the American people. The USC Schwarzenegger Institute is dedicated to advancing post-partisanship. It's a place where leaders put the needs of their constituents over the needs of their party, where the best solution is the one that serves the most people, and where strong ideas are judged by their merit and not by who's making the statement. By focusing on state and global policy, the Institute will unite cutting-edge thinkers from business, government, nonprofits, and academia. Together, they will cultivate sustainable solutions to the critical issues our communities face.
And what was it that I saw? I saw that people, not just in California, but across the nation, were hungry for a new kind of politics. A politics that looks beyond the old labels, the old ways, the old arguments. As a matter of fact, California historian Kevin Starr says that we must think of ourselves as belonging not just to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, but to the Party of California, because California is a collective ideal worth preserving. The Party of California is beyond ideology, and one to which all of us belong. They like some of the Republican ideas, but then they also like some of the Democratic ideas. And then at the same time, they think that some Republican ideas are too far to the right, and they think some of the Democratic ideas are too far to the left. And they rightly know that if you just stick to one party's proposals, you miss half of the good ideas. The people are disgusted with the mindset. They would rather get nothing done than accomplish something through compromise. The question is not, what are the needs of the Republicans or the Democrats? The real question is, what are the needs of our people? We don't need Republican roads or Democratic roads. We need roads. We don't need Republican healthcare or Democratic healthcare. We need healthcare. We don't need Republican clean air or Democratic clean air. We all breathe the same air.
We all breathe the same air. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the Institute and the inaugural holder of the Governor Downey Chair, Professor of State and Global Policy at USC, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, President Nikias, for the fantastic introduction. It's exactly the way I wrote it. And also thank you very much for your great partnership. One thing I want to correct of what you said today is that I did not win Miss Universe. Different bikinis, waxing, all of those things. I did not win that competition. No, it's Mr. Universe. But anyway, I just want to say that how enthusiastic I am about being in partnership with USC. I mean, President Nikias from the beginning we were drawn to his creativity and his vision. I mean, his extraordinary vision and his commitment to USC and to the Schwarzenegger Institute is unmatched. I mean, to be honest with you also, that it is really great not being the only one who speaks here with an accent. So there's a big advantage we have here. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to appearing together over and over, all over the world, and leaving audiences scratching their head and say, what the hell did I just say? But seriously though, he's a great leader. President Nikias, you're a great leader for USC, and we're very lucky to have you. Big hand. I also want to say thank you to Barney Rees, the new global director of the USC Schwarzenegger Institute. She has been by my side for decades, helping to coordinate my after-school programs, working on the President's Council on Fitness, and being my advisor when I was governor, and of course also, and the most important, being a great, great friend. So thank you very much to Barney Rees. And thank you to Professor Nancy Stout, the esteemed academic director of the Institute. As soon as I was told about this genius tax and budget professor that USC stole away from Northwestern, I knew that we had to have her. So it is great to have you on the team, Professor. Thank you very much. Also, a huge thank you to Provost Beth Garrett, who was an absolute joy to work with throughout this entire process. And the love, her passion, and her interest in this institute. From day one, she was also very interested in having this institute right here. So thank you very much. And finally, I want to say thank you to Dean Jack Knott and the whole Price School of Public Policy team for their great support. I mean, Jack isn't just a genius, he's an expert in breaking through bureaucracy, and he believes in action, so he's a perfect partner for our institute. Thank you, Jack. I also want to say thank you to all the panelists that are here. I know that they're all very busy and important people, and they've taken out the time to come here from all over the country to participate in this panel discussion, in this very important panel discussion. So let's give them a big hand and say thank you. And also a big thank you to the students that are here today. And I'm very sorry that 300 of the students had to be turned away. There was such enormous interest. But the way we selected the people to come in here, the students, was by body fat. Anyone below 10% body fat was allowed to come in here. So that's the only way I could come up with a way to select the people. So anyway, it's great to have you all here. But anyway, I stand here today full of hope. I look around this room and I can feel the promise and the potential. It is energizing, let me tell you. It is fantastic to see this great enthusiasm. The day we launched the USC Schwarzenegger Institute, this isn't just a day for celebration. This is a day for commitment. It is a day for promise. It is a day for debate and discussions and brainstorming. It is a day for hard work. But we're going to have a lot of fun at the same time. Don't worry about that. As governor, I must tell you, I broke a lot of rules. I never thought about things in a partisan way. And the insiders in Sacramento could never understand that. I mean, for instance, when I tried to pass healthcare reform, they immediately said, "But you're a Republican, what are you doing? You can't do that," and I didn't pay any attention to them. When I hired a Democrat as my chief of staff, they said, "You can't do that, you're a Republican governor, what are you doing with a Democrat?" I didn't listen. When almost half of my judiciary appointments were Democrats, they said again, "You're a Republican, you can't do that." But I learned the old way of doing things just didn't work. So I broke the rules. I broke the rules because they were not working for the people of California, and the status quo just did not serve the people well. In the process, I discovered my own rules. They are the rules that I used to govern, and those are the very rules that will direct the vision of this institute. First, the best policies are written in the absence of fear. The sad story is that the political arena is packed and filled with fear. They're always worried so much about the poll numbers or about the election coming up, making sure they get re-elected. I believe that it takes true courage to create meaningful action. Second, the closer that you're to the people, the more action. You can't just rely on big national governments because many times big means slow. States and cities and people can move much faster. And we can never forget the power of the private sector, the nonprofit sector, and the academic sector. All of them together with the public sector can really come up with great solutions. And finally, no ideology has the monopoly on solutions. I mean, you can run an election from the right and from the left, yes, but you can't really run a state if you're obsessed with ideology. So this is the framework of the Schwarzenegger Institute that we will use as we focus on policies to improve the people's lives. Now, there was no better place to continue our work than right here at USC, the academic window to the world. Us, just as the Port of Los Angeles exports goods around the world, USC constantly is exporting brilliant and innovative ideas around the globe. USC has a gloried past, but it also envisions a path into the future where faculty and students learn to innovate, to improve, and to experiment, and take risks to respond to the new circumstances and challenges. In all fields, USC research has the respect of the world because USC never fails to bring the best minds together without care for ideology or the ways of the past. This is rightfully a proud institution. And I am so proud to have you as my partner. As I assume my chair as the Governor Downey Professor of State and Global Policy, I can't help but think of Governor Downey's vision, but not only in helping found this great university, but also his vision as governor of the state of California. Governor Downey took on the special interests way back in 1860s when they tried to monopolize the San Francisco waterfront. He sided also against many of his fellow Democrats when he placed California firmly behind President Lincoln and the Union at the outbreak of the Civil War. His appearances in support of his policies were also known to cause such passion that fistfights would break out in various different places. So you could literally say that he was the first action star governor of California. I also love that he was the first immigrant to lead our great state. So we have a lot in common. So for me, it is a true honor to serve in this role. So I look forward to the Schwarzenegger Institute in helping to preserve and to grow the California dream that brought Governor Downey and me to this great state. The goal of our institute is not only to share what I have learned when I was governor and what I did when I was governor, but to continue the work that was unfinished. Every governor arrives in office with a long list of ambitious goals. If you finish half of them, you're lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. And I promised because of that, because so many things were unfinished, that I will continue to work even after my term ends, to give back to California and to give back to the world. And that's exactly what we will do here at the Schwarzenegger Institute. My term as governor came to an end, but the people's work never stops. Today, we begin that work by discussing some of the lessons that shaped my time in office. Foremost among my lessons was that the best ideas often require political courage. See, the Schwarzenegger Institute can and must be a megaphone for those ideas. We must give a voice to the true reformers who are too often silenced in the halls of power. The status quo is truly a powerful monster that resists change at all times. You can produce the best ideas on earth, but if you don't have political courage, you have nothing. Words without action are just poetry. To use a very scholarly phrase, meaningful change takes balls. It's my quote. We learned that lesson over and over when I was governor of California. Let me give you an example. When we took on redistricting reform, people said, Arnold, you're crazy. This is never going to happen. Just quit while you're ahead. The corrupt system of gerrymandering, they say, it has been in place for over 200 years, and politicians would never give up the power of drawing their own district lines. We were attacked from both sides. They spent millions and millions of dollars against us, and redistricting reform failed 5 times. But no one could scare us or discourage us. We had the courage to keep fighting because we knew that's what it takes to create real change. You know something? It paid off because in the 6th time, we succeeded. So this year, for the first time in 200 years, our politicians compete in districts that were drawn fairly by the people, not by the party bosses in smoky rooms, not by the special interests, and not by the politicians who only care about their career. So as you can see, political courage is not political suicide. Another lesson that I've learned is the power of regional governments. Regional governments have tremendous power. And why this is so important is because so many times you see cities and counties and states waiting for the federal government to do something, to create some policy, to make a move. But California, we didn't wait. We didn't wait for Washington, nor did we wait for an international treaty and an environment or anything like this. We just moved forward. I remember Washington was never that enthusiastic about infrastructure. You know how much we are falling behind in infrastructure nationwide compared to the rest of the world. But we in California, we said yes to infrastructure. We said yes, and now you can see construction on schools and roads and affordable housing and other projects all over the state of California. Washington said no to stem cell research. Imagine. We said yes, and we invested $3 billion. As a matter of fact, right here at USC, we have one of the great centers for stem cell research, the Eli Broad Center for Regenerative Medicine. And they are drawing money from those $3 billion for their center. Washington said no to our landmark climate change law, our 1 million solar roofs, our tailpipe emission, and the list goes on. And we said yes, yes, and we moved forward. Some of the most powerful solutions come from local government and also from grassroots. The people power, not from Washington, not from Paris, not from Moscow or Beijing. And finally, I learned quickly that a post-partisan way of governing is the most effective way. If we believe that you can only use the ideas of the right and the left, you will never be able to move forward. You will never go and be successful. We saw that in California and in other states, and we have seen the post-partisanship work all over the world. Here at the USC Schwarzenegger Institute, we will bring the most brilliant ideas and the most dazzling solutions to the forefront, no matter what the ideology is behind it. That is our mission. We will research with all of the brain power that we can muster, and we will produce solutions that can be used not only just for this state, but all over the world. You see, this isn't just an idea institute, although we will debate and research the best ideas, but this is an action institute to protect and to export the California dream, to inspire local action and political courage based not on ideology, but on solutions for the people. We want to make sure that our politicians become public servants, not party servants or special interest servants. I'm most proud, of course, when we talk about this event here today, that we will bring USC students into this mission. This is so important that they're part of it on every step of the way. Let us inspire them to become a new generation of leaders. Let us harness their great power and bring them into the process. Let us embrace the potential that we see in these great young minds. Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Schwarzenegger Institute, we will have the vision and the courage to change and to improve the world. Because we all know the people's work never stops. Thank you very much. Thank you.